Mommy, look.
Okay, honey, let me just put Rose in her chair, okay? Baby down, I'll be right back, sweetheart. Oh, I know.
Look, Mommy, look.
Oh, precious.
Look at me. Me.
Lily? Lily, look at what you did. Mommy just has to get something. Okay, let's be real. How many of us have felt like Charlotte from Sex and the City 2 at one point or another? I know that I feel like Charlotte sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, honey. Okay? And if you watched my first video, then you already know that I have 2 children. I have 2 girls. I have a preteen and I have a toddler. So 12 and 3. And my kids could not be more different. Not just because of the age difference between them, but just, you know, their mere character and personality differs a lot. My eldest is quiet, patient, easygoing, very self-efficient, and a real helper, especially around the house. And then you have my 3-year-old. Who is an absolute dream, but she is quite rambunctious. She is a little bit more needy, clingy, loud, outgoing, and just a complete utter ball of energy. So really learning to find that balance between both of their needs, which are very different, and then work, the household, and just my sanity has not always been the easiest thing for me to do. But luckily I have learned to implement a couple things into my life and into my day-to-day routines that have helped me out tremendously, and I found have been really life-changing, especially when I stick to it and I'm consistent with it. So if you'd like to know what those tips are, then please keep on watching. All right, so for my first tip, we're going to talk about staying organized and planning for the day ahead the night before. I like to do things like meal prep, clean up the house, and basically write down all the things that I will need to do the following day the night before. That way when I wake up, my energy just feels lighter, the house feels good, and things are just organized, which just creates structure and reduces my stress, at least. So hopefully it'll do the same for you. But I do find that writing things down and then just going throughout the day and just kind of checking my list off, it helps me a lot. It helps me, you know, stay focused, stay structured, and reduces my stress. So I love to plan the day before, and I can show you guys a little example of just a list, just some things that I write down. It can go from anywhere from, you know, call my insurance company to picking up laundry to, you know, making sure I do an activity with my preteen over there, taking a shot of apple cider vinegar, okay, because, you know, we got to stay snatched. And yeah, just things like that, making phone calls. But anyway, I just find that the more I write things down, the better I am to conquer my day, not forget things, and, you know, just basically reduce the stress. So yeah, so write your stuff down, stay organized. For my next tip number 2, we're going to talk about carving out time for yourself. You're a busy mom or dad and you got a lot going on, and I think it is so imperative and it's so crucial to make sure that we carve out some alone time for ourselves. I recommend either doing it really early in the morning or after your kids are in bed sleeping. I didn't always do this, and I found that when I would wake up kind of like with my kids, I would be instantly irritated, cranky, frustrated, overwhelmed, and just a bitch. Like, I just would not be in a good mood. I would just be cranky because I'm just like, damn, like the minute I open my eyes, I gotta jump into mommy mode and work mode and everything kind of mode, and I didn't even have a chance to wash my damn face. So I've learned to, for me, mornings work best. So I've learned to wake up about somewhere between 6:30 in the morning, and literally just have about an hour or two to myself to meditate, to read, just do anything, just have alone time, period. You know, you can scroll through social media if you want, but which you probably shouldn't do that first thing in the morning. But the point is this, the point is to make sure that you are getting that alone time for yourself so that you can mentally prepare for the day ahead, so that you can just get yourself right, just get your energy right. And then but I feel so much more patient, so much more equipped, and just ready to deal with whatever life or the day has for me when I wake up early in the morning and I just have that quiet alone time. And if you're a parent, you know how precious it is to just have peace and quiet for just a few minutes. And you can do that. You can do that. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't always wake up at 6, but what the days that I actually do stick to my guns and I make myself get up at 6 or 6:30 in the morning, yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle at first, but then let me tell you, the energy I feel later, the lightness I feel later on in the day is incredible, and it's always worth it. So give it a try and see if that helps you. Other reasons why you should carve out time for yourself is because, let's just be real, like being a parent is incredibly hard. It's difficult. Whenever you have to raise another human being, it is tough. You know, whether you're mom, dad, guardian, aunt, doesn't matter. If you have a person in your position that you are responsible for, it is tough. It is hard. And, you know, a lot of the times when we're frustrated, what happens is we can take out our anger and our, you know, and everything else that's going on in our lives on our kids. And that's not cool. I know I used to do that, you know, and it's just, you end up feeling like shit. You end up feeling terrible afterwards. And then your kid all confused, like, dang, my mommy all mad at me, what I do. So, you know, you definitely just don't want to be using your kids as an outlet, and you don't want to be projecting anything onto them either, because it fucks them up later. It messes them up. You know, and kids can feel energy too. So it's like, again, when you're not in a good space and you feel heavy and you feel irritable and you're just aggravated, like your kids can feel that. And it messes with them. Like, think about it when you were a kid. Like, think about how it felt when you were in the house and there was tension or arguing or anything like that. You know, it's just like, you can feel it. You can feel when the air is tight or thick and uncomfortable. And you really just don't want your babies growing up in that type of environment. You know, and like I said before, like, I know for me, after being all grouchy and mean and frustrated and not being the mom that I truly know I can be and want to be, I always regret it later. So that motivated me even more to try to change my behaviors, implement things in my life, and really just push through, like, my habits, my normal habits, which weren't aiding me in a good way. So I didn't want to just be lashing out at my kids and frustrated with them and aggravated with them and then regretting it afterwards. So I said, you know, let me figure out if there's a way for me to cut that out and, you know, just not even have to deal with that or put that on them. And another reason to carve time out for yourself is because your kids, it's a learned behavior. Kids learn everything from us, especially when they're younger. They learn the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. That's just how it goes when you're a parent. So if your kids are hitting, yelling, throwing tantrums, not listening, it's because you're not setting a good example, or you're not giving them the tools to deal with those intense emotions, you know, and it's hard. I have a 3-year-old who makes me nuts. And I would just, you know, snap and be, you know, just aggravated because I just didn't understand her and why she was behaving this way. And it's like, I had to take a real deep look at myself and say, yo, calm the hell down. It's a baby. It's a toddler. You're the adult here. Take control. And I really had to remember, like, I'm in power here. I have the control here. So through a lot of effort, through consistency and plenty of time, my little one and I have gotten into such a good space where, like, I don't have to threaten to give her papaos. I don't really have to like yell at her very much or at all, really. Usually now we're getting to the point where I can kind of just look at her like, yo, you know, you're doing something you're not supposed to, and she gets it. Before, it wasn't like that. It was the tantrums, it was the screaming, it was because I was not showing a good example of like how to handle intense emotions, whether it's being upset, whether it's crying. It's like you have to exemplify being calm, cool, and collected, and to just woosah, woosah. Okay, and that is not always easy, and I don't always get it right. It's been trial and error for me. Consistency too. Like, you can't just try something and then a day or two after be like, all right, well, it's not working. Again, learn behaviors. When you have to undo that, it takes time. You know, bringing us back to the point, the reason why you want to make sure that you're carving out time for yourself and just giving yourself that alone time is because, you know, when you're not right, your kids are not right. And they're going to learn from you, whether it's intentional or not. So you just want to make sure you're setting yourself up to be the best example that you can for them. So yeah. Next tip I have is to carve out quality time with your children. And I know that's going to sound obvious, but I was a parent that used to feel like just being in the same house as my kid was quality time, and it's not. It is so not. You need to actually, and that's what kids, especially little ones, like my little one, oh gee, nothing makes her happier or filled with more joy than when I'm actually being present with her and I'm playing with her and I'm giving her eye contact, and you know, we're just being silly together for a few minutes. And I am not always up for that. Let me be clear. I get tired too, I get frustrated too, I get overwhelmed too, and I am not always up for it. But you have to remember, like, why. You have to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's important for you to, kids need that quality time with their parents. So you want to make sure that you're being present, you're giving attention, you're being playful, and you're having patience. That is a big one, and it is not easy, because ain't nobody gonna try you more than your damn kids, okay? Ain't nobody gonna push you more than your damn kids. But you gotta remain patient, you gotta remain calm, and you just gotta breathe through it. And one thing I learned from therapy is reward and consequence. So if your child is flipping the fuck out or flipping the hell out and, you know, acting a damn mess, you know, the type of parent I was, I'd want to spank that ass. Okay, I'm gonna tear that ass up real quick. But it only gets you but so far, right? So what you just want to try to just show them, not through hitting or yelling, but just like, if you know, don't negatively reinforce your kids, or try not to, because I'm not here to tell anybody how to raise their kids or how to live their life. I really just want to share some of the things that have helped make my life a little bit smoother and easier, especially when dealing with the kids in the home. But again, it's not for me to tell anyone. It's a judgment-free zone here. We do not judge. It's just, you know, again, I'm just trying to share some stuff that I have found to be really helpful in my life. And hopefully it'll be helpful for you too. So yes, moving on. This is kind of piggybacking on the staying organized and writing your stuff down, because when you do that and you have structure in your life, at the end of the day, whether you've completed your whole list or not, you still end up feeling a sense of accomplishment. You feel accomplished because, you know, you got stuff done, period. I mean, even if it's not the whole damn list, you still got stuff done. You still stayed organized, and you probably stayed a lot calmer and a lot less stressed than you normally would have been. So you end up going to bed feeling good. And that's a beautiful thing, right? Who the hell wants to go to bed feeling, which is what we do anyway, right? We go to bed feeling stressed and feeling like we're failing and like we're just not getting it, and life sucks and it's hard. So, you know, really try to do these things and see if and how it can help you, and hopefully the most positive way. last tip I have, and this I understand may not be possible for everyone, but if you do have external support, remember it does take a village to raise a child. So if you have a friend or some family or just one family member, you know, utilize them. And not even like that, not to like quote unquote raise your kids, but it's okay to take a break. It is okay, especially if you have people that love your kids. Not people, okay, let's pause, because I feel like I could hear or like sense the, what, I ain't letting nobody take my kids. Obviously we're not talking about that. We're talking about people that if you have people that you absolutely trust and are comfortable with. I know that for myself, I have people in my life that I can absolutely rely on, and that, you know, love my girls as their own, and that I'm 100% comfortable with my girls in their care. But that doesn't mean that I was always willing to utilize their help, because I had a tendency to want to look like I always had everything going swell and going you know, just everything's just going beautifully and going well. And that wasn't always the case. You know, I had a lot of pride, and sometimes I'd be a little bit of a martyr, and I didn't have to be. So that is what I mean. So if you have anybody in your life, like, don't be too prideful. It is okay to need help. It takes a village, for real, for real. So, you know, lean on them if you can. Not use or abuse, but every now and then, I don't see nothing wrong with saying, hey mom, or hey sis, or hey bestie, you know, can you take so and so for a few hours or for overnight? Again, that's up to you to work out. But yeah, utilize that external support if you have it, you know. So, but all right, I think that this wraps it up for this video. I really hope that this content can help somebody and, you know, make a difference for maybe even just at least one person. Because like I said, I noticed that doing these things, especially being consistent with these tips, make a world of a difference in my life, for myself and my kids. So yeah, I hope that someone can take something from this and their life will go a little bit easier. So, and until next time, remember to always be good to yourself and others. Peace.